welcome back to my channel. My name is Enzo Masia, and I've decided to do this Q&A just to help you guys get to know me a little bit better, and also because of the channel and the different direction that the channel is going in. I felt that this would be a great start for us to just get to know each other, you getting to know me. So I have a bunch of questions that I've asked you to actually ask me, and then I'll read those questions and I will respond, and hopefully that will help you to get to know me better. Anyway, so let me start with the first one. Sips tea. Okay, so the first question is, how old are you? And well, that's pretty easy. I'm 37 years old, believe it or not. And someone asked about my full name and the meaning behind it. So my name is Enzo, and basically Enzo has meanings in both the Italian and the French context. In the French context, it means winner, right? And in the Italian context, it means head of the household. So that's the meaning behind my name. And I think it makes sense given the fact that I'm the first of four. And by that I mean I'm the firstborn in my family between my mom and dad. Excluding our step siblings, that is. Anyway. Great. And the next question is, where are you from? And I'm from Mpumalanga. I was actually born in a small township called Embalenhle. And then we moved with my parents because their families were based in the low veld of Mpumalanga at a place called Egem. And so that's where we spent pretty much a bit of my childhood there. And then we moved along, the province a lot before we eventually settled in a town called Middelburg. And that's where, our family home currently is. And that's that on that. How many siblings do you have? I think I've already covered this when I mentioned that I'm actually the first of four. I have 3 other siblings between my mom and dad, and then I've got 4 other siblings, my step siblings, and in that order I'm actually the third, and I'm the firstborn son to my dad. So that's about my siblings. And of course, what is my sexual orientation? Okay, so I'm a gay man and I identify as a gay man, proudly so. And that's that on that, period. Favorite music? I love old school R&B. I love old school R&B. I think it's amazing. I think it's incredible. But I think at the core of who I am, I just love gospel music. I love singing it. I love listening to it. And favorite food? Do I really have like a favorite food? Let me think about it for a second. I mean, I love chocolate cake. I love a good chocolate cake. And I enjoy Nando's, guys. Like, I'm a very simple guy. So there's nothing complicated there. And I've got a very sweet tooth, so a lot of decisions, when it comes to food are linked to that fact. So make what you will with that information. So when did you start singing? Believe it or not, I actually started singing officially, at the age of 5. And just to give a bit of sort of background, about that. So I come from a family where my maternal grandparents were pastors, and basically we had a family church. And naturally at home, everybody sang. My aunts, my uncles, everybody sang because that's the setup, we sort of grew up into. We were born into the church, and the church was our life, and if you were part of that setup, you had to sing, and that's how I guess I got into singing as well. And I mentioned this specifically at the age of 5 because at the age of 5, that was when I first officially sang at a Good Friday conference in our church, and that was the first exposure of me singing that I actually had. And to be honest, I hated that experience for some reason. I didn't like it at all. It was just not the best of moments, but that's when I started singing, and it's continued ever since. What's the next question? Who's your favorite artist? Okay, so locally, I would say I love Dogo Zombambo. I think she's phenomenal. I think she's great. She's amazing. Internationally, I love CC Winans. I love Kirk Franklin as a writer and producer, obviously because he doesn't sing much, but his work is amazing. It's incredible. And there are a few others, that are amazing vocalists, but I think for me, those vocalists in particular, or those singers, or singers slash, gospel ministers. Yes, I think that's what the word I was looking for. Those do it for me. They really do. Obviously, I love the whole Hillsong gang, and I love their music, and it's influenced a lot of my music, and love them. And then holiday destination. My dream holiday destination actually is Venice. And I hope to actually be able to do this with the love of my life one day, where we can be able to just go and explore that. And so that's my dream holiday destination. What is your relationship status? My current relationship status is single but unavailable. So just to clarify that, Home Affairs officially knows that I'm single, right? But I'm not available because I'm currently, madly in love with someone, and we are exploring the possibility of spending the rest of our lives together. So in that regard, that makes me unavailable. Gosh, okay, that made me blush too much, but anyway, it's the season, guys, it's the season. Goodness. And then, tell us about your relationship with Christ, okay? I really love God. I love, my relationship with Him. I was born again many years ago. I can't even remember the year actually, but I know that I was in my late teens, where I was born again and started developing an active relationship with God, and started pursuing God, and started pursuing Him, and pursuing His things, and service, in the church, and and actively just seeking Him. So I've been doing that for the longest time, and I've enjoyed a really good relationship with Him, where we both talk to each other, we listen to each other, we hear each other, and sometimes we ignore each other. And that relationship, as complicated as that sounds. But yeah, it's been a beautiful journey of just kind of reflection, just opening myself up for God to look into my heart, and for Him to mold me and shape me into who He wants to see in me. So I'm very passionate about that. And I actually went to Bible school, and I did Bible school twice, believe it or not. I'm a 2-time Bible school graduate, and that's how passionate I am about, my relationship with God, outside of my formal, education, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I can go on and on and on about that relationship, but that's basically the long and the short of it. What's my favorite thing to say? Okay, currently I have a word, right? And I think my boyfriend would definitely agree with this. The most said word in my life right now is hectic. Oh God, okay, I always say hectic. Like if something is just like annoying or it's intense or whatever it is, my favorite go-to word is hectic. And sometimes I'll say yikes. And I love saying, oh wow, as some form of expression in conversation in a lot of things. A lot of things for me are just like, oh wow, and hectic. So yeah, what do people find annoying about you? Okay, now that's an interesting question. I have no idea. I don't know. I've never really had like conversations with my friends where they were like, this is annoying. Maybe it's the fact that I say yikes a lot and I don't know, and hectic and I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But we'll need to think about that. Yeah, okay, this is an interesting question. How do you feel about the state of the South African economy? Oh my goodness. I think we're actually going through a very tough period economically right now, which also, if you think about it, has a bit of promise in terms of the prospects, with BRICS and what that could possibly lead to. In terms of the agreements that are contained therein, if everybody sticks to their part and does their part for the advancement of African countries, and the developing economies, because I think that's what we always have to remember, that we are a developing country. I think people sometimes forget that. When we look at a lot of things that relate to South Africa, is that we are a developing country, and so a lot of our struggles emanate from that point, the fact that we are a developing country, and there's still so much that still needs to be done to be invested into our economy for it to grow. There are a lot of pressures globally that are also negatively impacting us, obviously because of the agreements that we have with other countries and the fact that we are still indebted, and that has obviously a detrimental effect on our growth as a country and the rate at which we grow. So there's a lot that needs to be done overall to get us to a point where we can breathe and live normally. And obviously I can't close this conversation about the state of the South African economy without mentioning the impact of load shedding and how it's affecting everybody, and how it's affecting businesses and how it's affecting lives. The man on the street, people who get easily laid off because companies are not meeting their quotas, etc., etc. We all know what impact that has had on a lot of people. A lot of people have lost their livelihoods, etc., etc. So there's also a greater contribution that is also having on the negative state that we currently find ourselves in. But obviously at the root of it, if you think about it, for our economy to actually grow and for us to be able to experience prosperity in our economy is corruption. If we really look at the root of it, if that is dealt with and that is actually addressed, I think as a country there's a lot we can achieve, and there's a lot that can be made available, a lot of resources that can be made available for the people who least are receiving it right now. Oh my gosh, I felt like I was preaching for a second there. But yeah, where are the questions now? Goodness. Here we go. And if you could escape for a day and be someone else, who would it be and why? Oh my goodness. It will be interesting to be Oprah for a day, just to have a life in the day of, Oprah, mainly because she is one of my mentors, and I look up to the work that she's done over the span of her career, and I look up to, how she thinks in some areas as well, and, the impact that she's had, through her brand, and the work that she's done globally for me is something I really admire, and something I really I'm in awe of. And so it would be interesting to actually be her for like a day and figure out how she thinks, what she does, and what her day-to-day looks like. So that's who I would like to escape and be for a day. What's my favorite drink? Oh, do I have a favorite drink? I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite drink. But I mean, I do enjoy a good cocktail here and there. Yeah, let's not mention names, but yeah. Oh God. If you could relive a moment in time, which moment would it be and why? So in 2013, I entered Mr. South Africa. And in retrospect, when I reflected on that journey and in terms of how everything unfolded and how that journey, unfolded for me personally in the running and in the whole competition, I felt like, I think at the conclusion of it all, when I reflected on it, I felt like I wasn't ready. And I was still very far on my journey to self-actualization. And so having, if I would have gone very far in that competition, it would have definitely exposed me, and it would have forced me to deal with a lot of issues and a lot of things that I was not necessarily ready to confront at that point. And so it was really eye-opening for me. So if I could relive that moment, I would do it, but with this version of who I am right now, because I think this version of who I am right now is more assured, is more confident, is more alive, and is just generally happier with self and comfortable in my skin. And I think that's the key. That's the most important thing. I think I'm more comfortable, with my skin right now, and that's the one thing I would redo. And yeah. And the last question is, who is your best friend? Okay, cool. So I have, I think I have about 4 besties in my life. There's not one single person, that has that title of best friend. And interestingly enough, yeah, it's four different women. Yeah, it's 4 different women that are my best friends. I love them. I value their presence in my life, and I value their counsel, and they inspire me a lot to become better in terms of what they're doing in their different fields, in their different careers. They're great listeners. They're a great support system. They're always there for me, and they're always very supportive. So I'm grateful for their presence in my life. And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings us to the conclusion of this Get to Know Me video. It's been a pleasure to sit here and respond to all these questions, and I hope that you have some sort of sense of who I am now that you've heard my responses to all these questions. And until next time, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel so that we can get those numbers going, and the channel can grow. Cheers, everybody. Bye.